Good afternoon, Hafaday Faisho, and welcome to your house chamber. To all of you in the gallery, to all those viewing on social media, and to all those viewing on cable, welcome once again. I now call this first day, second special session to order. Please let us all rise for a moment of silence. Thank you, everyone. And with that, we'll move down to the first item of the agenda, the roll call, and I recognize the clerk.
Representative Fada,
Present.
Representative Aldan, Representative Aquino,
Present.
Representative Fatal,
Present.
Representative Benavente,
Here you
Representative Angelo Camacho,
Present.
Representative Diego Camacho,
Present.
Representative Joel Camacho,
Yeah.
Representative Joseph Flores, Representative Marissa Flores,
Present.
Representative Manglonia, Representative Vogel,
Present.
Representative Omar, Representative Palacios,
Here you
Representative Rangmar,
Present.
Representative Sablan,
Istigat.
Representative St. Nicholas,
Present.
Mr. Speaker,
Present.
Representative Yangtamay,
Nyangi.
Representative Yumo.
Present.
Mr. Speaker, 17 members are present and 3 members are absent.
Thank you, clerk. With 17 members present, that's enough to move forward with today's session. Let the record reflect that Representatives Flores, Manglonia, and Omar are hereby excused for today's session. Before we move to item number 2, public comments, I'd like to recognize the floor for the suspension of rules. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to suspend Rule 3, Section 6, so that the House amends its agenda to include unnumbered bills and resolutions not filed within the House Clerk's office 72 hours in advance when a notice for session was given and posted. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made by the floor leader for the suspension of rules to amend today's agenda, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Fada,
Yes.
Representative Aldan, Representative Aquino,
Yes.
Representative Fatal,
Yes.
Representative Benavente,
Good.
Representative Angelo Camacho, Representative Diego Camacho,
Yes.
Representative Joel Camacho,
Good.
Representative Marissa Flores,
Yes.
Representative Vogel,
Yes.
Representative Palacios,
Good.
Representative Rangomar,
Yes.
Representative Sablan,
Good.
Representative St. Nicholas,
Yes.
Representative Yangtamay,
Aware.
Representative Yumo, Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 17 members present voted yes.
Thank you, clerk. With all 17 members present voting yes, the motion carries. And with that, we'll go ahead with public comments. The podium is open. Please state your name, the entity you represent. You'll be given 5 minutes, and please try to keep your comments within what's on today's agenda. Thank you. Podium's open.
Good afternoon, Speaker and members of the 24th Commonwealth Legislature. My name is Ray Munya. I am the chairperson of the Civil Service Commission. And before I get with my comment, I just want to recognize and thank the open and informal discussions with the JGO chairman and vice chairman, Congressman Joel Camacho and Congressman BJ Atto. So this is in regards to House Bill 24-15. The Civil Service Commission wholeheartedly and respectfully submits this formal comment on House Bill 24-15 HD1 or Standing Committee Report 24-3, the proposed Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands Labor Management Relations Act. So we are against it. While we recognize the intent to enhance employee representation, we must express our deep concern regarding the bill's potential impact on the integrity, efficiency, and sustainability of our civil service system. At this time, our commission is fully engaged in a comprehensive review of existing laws and outdated regulations governing civil service employees. We are actively identifying necessary updates and recommending changes aimed at strengthening our personnel service systems rules and regulations, creating a fair, consistent, and merit-based framework for all civil service employees. To succeed in this mission, we need the support of both the legislature and the administration, particularly in securing the funding required to ensure the Commission's financial independence and operational capacity. We are deeply concerned that implementing a collective bargaining system now would derail our efforts to improve the civil service system. It could create an uneven playing field where some employees are represented and others are not, leading to unfair differences in rights and protections. These agreements can also make it harder for agencies to adjust quickly when needs change and may lead to more tension between management and employees, hindering collaboration and slowing down public services. In addition, the cost and time needed to set up and maintain such a system would put even more pressure on already limited government resources. Rather than adopting a collective bargaining system that would introduce additional costs, complexity, we believe it is more practical and effective to strengthen the existing civil service framework. Our proposed amendments to Public Law 1780 address many of the same concerns raised in House Bill 24-15 by enhancing employee protections through fair grievance and appeal processes, providing independent legal support and a neutral hearing officer, expanding training opportunities, and ensuring meaningful employee representation. This approach enables meaningful reforms without the financial and operational risks associated with collective bargaining. Moreover, our existing merit-based system provides a stable foundation that ensures fairness, protects essential services, and supports accountability. Enhancing this system, not replacing it, would benefit all public service employees equally and help preserve the operational flexibility our government needs to respond to the needs of our communities. We also understand that our firefighters and other essential personnel have unique needs that deserve fair and thoughtful consideration. Rather than adopting a broad collective bargaining system, we believe a more balanced and effective solution lies in making targeted updates to existing laws, specifically Public Law 18-73, the Department of Fire and Emergency Medical Services Act, Public Law 19-83, Salary Act, and Public Law 17-80, the Civil Service Act. These focus changes can address important issues like federal compliance, emergency status, and job classification in a way that is equitable, efficient, and tailored to their specific roles, without disrupting the overall structure of our civil service system. Our commission is committed to creating a stronger, more responsive civil service system that protects employee rights, supports good governance, and aligns with the Commonwealth's fiscal realities. We urge this committee to work with us to strengthen and modernize our current framework rather than pursue the establishment of a parallel system that may create more problems than it solves. Thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, and if you would like, you can submit your written comments. Just hand it over to our sergeant. Oh, we have it already? Okay. Thank you. All right, the podium is still open.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker, Vice Speaker and Floor Leader, and members of this committee, this House. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share my thoughts on House Bill 24-15, a bill to establish public sector employee and public sector employer relations through organized labor within the Commonwealth and for other purposes. Let me begin by saying that the Office of Personnel Management is against the enactment of a law that would undermine the function of the Civil Service Commission and the provisions of the Civil Service Regulations as mandated under Public Law 17-80. The Civil Service Commission promulgates rules and regulations that addresses employment disputes, issues that goes way beyond House Bill 24-15 intends to address. In addition to salaries, wages, hours, terms, and conditions of employment, as specified in the proposed House bill, the Civil Service Regulations also covers a lot of issues like, for example, staffing, appointments, demotions, suspensions, separations, reduction in force, employee appeals, grievance procedures, adverse actions, classification, compensation, employee and employer relations, employee conduct and performance, responsibilities of employees and management, political activities, employment, equal employment opportunity policy, incentives and awards, benefits, services, performance evaluation, training and employee development, personal management evaluation, planning and reports, employment records, alcohol and drug-free workplace policy, and anti-bullying policy. As you can see, it is more than just salary, wages, hours, terms, and conditions of employment. It is a comprehensive coverage of a variety of employment issues that pertains to the growth, well-being, security, and safety of public employees. The Civil Service Commission cares about public employees and as such has taken significant steps and actions to improve the coverage and clarity of the Civil Service Regulations. Amendments are now being made to promote growth, well-being, and the security of both government employees and management. This began with the recent creation of the PSSR Task Force consisting of OPM chiefs, CSC executive assistant, and the executive secretary. When it comes to the union, they are primarily concerned with the employees rather than management. Amendments to our regulations are now being submitted to the Attorney General's office for review and publications. In addition to the function of the Civil Service Commission, coverage of the Civil Service Regulations and efforts of the civil service has taken to improve salaries, wages, hours, terms, and conditions of employment for employees. I can also cite reasons why unions should not be recommended for government organizations. I agree that labor unions can provide employment benefits to employees, such as collective bargaining, job protections, and better working conditions. But here are reasons why we should not recommend union for government organizations. One is reduced managerial flexibility. Union oftentimes negotiate rigid contracts that can limit government departments, agencies' ability to reassign staff, change job duties, adjust job work schedules. This inflexibility hamper responsiveness to public needs and emergency situations. Increased costs. Union government workers may negotiate for higher salaries, benefits, and pension, potentially leading to budget overruns, long-term financial liabilities, especially in pension obligations. Reduced funds for other public services. Potential for strikes or slowdowns or work slowdowns. Those strikes are often illegal for public employees in many jurisdictions, including the CNMI. Public Law 7-43 restricts government employees to strikes against their employers. Nevertheless, union may still use tactics such as work rule to actions. This is when employees strictly adhere to their job description and contracts, refusing to perform extra work or even if it's normal part of their job. Essentially, they do only what's legally obligated to do, which can disrupt operations by slowing down productivity. Such an action conflicts with Section 10-20.24363 of the Civil Service Regulations, that's under the Code of Ethics, meaning employees shall give a full day's labor for a full day's pay, given to the performance of duties, earnest efforts, and best thought. Political pressure campaigns, this delay government operations or services to the public. Conflicts and public interests. Unlike private sector unions, government unions negotiate with elected officials using taxpayers' funds. This leads to undue political influence, prioritize union interests over the broader public welfare. Reduce accountability. Union can make it difficult to discipline or terminate underperforming employees, potentially leading to lower productivity, decreased service quality, frustration among citizens. Political influence. Government unions often engage in political lobbying, campaign contributions, which some view it as conflict of interest. When public funds indirectly support political activities, union also help elected officials who then negotiate with them. If the legislature really wants to make a difference in the well-being of public employees, they should look into improving existing laws and propose House and Senate bills. For example, Public Law 8-25. This is a law that deals with sick leave bank regulations. I believe some of the elected officials here may support the caregiver under these regulations. 1873, there are certain areas in this DFAMS law that needs to be improved to be more consistent with the Fair Labor Standards Act. Public Law 21-9, this has to do with the salary cap. The practices now in employment, sometimes it exceeds this, and they raise question concerning what is a salary. Salary, does that include also overtime, bonus salary, or even premium differential pay? Public Law 24-27, the pre-employment drug testing when tested positive for THC. It is not bad to look into it. House Bill 24-26, the 10% salary adjustments for contract renewals under Section 609 of the law. House Bill 2456, this is the 5% allocation for indirect funds, which covers OPM, finance and budget. They're all involved in the processing and execution of employment for federally funded positions. And also Senate Bill 24-01. This is the enactment of the term pension plan, which the former DB members were mistreated when they exit the DB plan under the NMI retirement fund program. These are serious employment concerns that the legislature can seriously look into and take action. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members.
Thank you, Mr. Pangilinan. The podium's still open.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay. Thank you. I'm here to advocate for HB number 24-1 to amend the provisions in Title VI sexual offenses. This is a really important bill to pass, and I just kind of want to come here to stress the passage of this bill. Again, I've been the chief of the criminal division for about 3.5 years, and this bill is going to be dealing with sexual assault cases and also sexual abuse of a minor type cases, which are the hardest offenses to prosecute. Primarily, it's because these offenses are usually happen or committed in private. And there's usually no evidence because, people, when they commit these crimes, they don't set up a camera. The onus is on the Commonwealth to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant, the perpetrator, is guilty. The defendant, the perpetrator, is not required to prove innocence. That is why we wanted to update the sexual abuse of a minor statute to enable better prosecutions. These updates are not controversial. They are needed. The bill does not expand the prosecutor's power. It actually expands protections for minors. It helps in our ability to prosecute cases and get justice for victims. The bill should be passed right away because it will help victims in prosecutions not 2 years from now, not 5 years from now. It can actually help today. Just recently, I received a call from DPS about a 30-year-old dating or having sexual contact with a 16-year-old. That is a charge. I cannot charge that person right now. But with this bill, I could charge that person. So I would ask that this bill be passed. Another reason for this bill to be passed is we're adding unlawful exploitation and voyeurism. This is absolutely needed. Section 1314 of this bill addresses issues that we couldn't before because it did not exist. Under this bill, we can now charge someone for being a peeping Tom. We couldn't before. We can now charge someone for recording someone without their consent. We could not do that before. We can now charge someone for revenge porn. Someone who threatens an ex-partner with release of sex tapes or pictures that were taken consensually, but now that person wants to release those recordings to get revenge. We couldn't charge that before. But now, if this bill is passed, we can charge it. Again, I just want to stress how important this is for the protection of minors and for better prosecutions. Again, thank you for your time, attention, and for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. The podium's still open.
Good afternoon. Hafidades and Taro, Honorable Speaker, esteemed members of the House of Representatives. I want to acknowledge the presence of the Sexual Assault Response Team, specifically the Office of the Attorney General, the Division of Youth Services, the Department of Public Safety, and the Northern Marianas Coalition Against Domestic and Sexual Violence, including all the other dedicated advocates and resilient survivors within our community who is viewing online with us. My name is Kiki Igatol Benjamin. I am the Associate Director at the Northern Marianas Coalition Against Domestic and Sexual Violence. Today, I stand before you as a survivor and as a passionate advocate for our youth and for all those impacted by sexual abuse and assault. I respectfully urge for the formal introduction of House Bill 24-1 to be placed on today's calendar for action and passage. I wholeheartedly support House Bill 24-1 to update the statute on sexual abuse of minors, voyeurism, and unlawful exploitation. This bill is vital for the safety and well-being of our community. For nearly 2 decades, I have worked alongside survivors whose powerful narratives of pain and perseverance have profoundly influenced me and has guided the mission of the Northern Marianas Coalition Against Domestic and Sexual Violence. One of the most fulfilling aspects of our work at the Coalition involves connecting with our youth throughout the Sinamai on Saipan, Rhoda, and Tinian. In our educational and outreach efforts, we teach our youth about the importance of consent, personal boundaries, and physical and emotional safety. We discuss personal values, the meaning of respect, and how to recognize sexual assault and harassment. We also provide essential resources, promote self-empowerment, and peer advocacy. On the flip side, one of the most heartbreaking aspects of our job is when children courageously share their traumatic experiences of sexual abuse. I have witnessed countless emotional testimonies from young people, stories filled with pain that no child should ever have to endure. I've also met many parents and guardians who are frustrated and in some cases completely outraged that the current statute denies their children the justice they rightfully deserve. This is due to flaws, loopholes, and lack of clear language in the existing statute established in January 2001. It is outdated, it is ancient. With that said, each section of the proposed bill reflects the careful input from our youth, parents, advocates, first responders, and service providers within our community on Saipan, Rhoda, and Tinian. It embodies many years of courageous dialogue and conversations and a steadfast commitment to transformative change. This proposed bill aims to enhance vital protections for our children and facilitate effective prosecutions. It is important to highlight that the current statute primarily focuses on the vulnerability of children to family members and authority figures. However, our world has changed. Children are not interacting with people not only at school, community events, or family gatherings, but are increasingly online and connecting through social media platforms. The current legislation fails to account for the impact of technology on both children's and adults' lives, leaving critical gaps in protections. Your support for this bill is essential for safeguarding our minors and adapting our laws to the realities of modern life. As leaders and caring adults, it is our paramount responsibility to cultivate protective environments that prioritize the safety of our children by holding offenders accountable and making it increasingly difficult for perpetrators to cause further harm. Honorable members of the House of Representatives, I once again urge you all to formally introduce House Bill 24-1 to be placed on today's calendar for action and passage on first and final reading. As you all have heard through the Division of Youth Services, just the statistics alone from October 2004 to April 2005, there are 46 sexual assault abuse cases thus far. And as you all know, as we all are aware in this work, sexual assault, sexual abuse is the most underreported crime. 46 alone within that time frame is one too many. So we implore you all to declare that sexual abuse and assault has no place in our beloved CNMI, and it will no longer be tolerated. Thank you. Suzusmasi Halasorami.
Thank you, Kiki. The podium's still open for public comments.
Hello, Mr. Speaker and honorable representatives. My name is Vin Armani. I'm the founder and chief technology officer of Marianas Rye Corp, a software company operating in CNMI since 2023. Many of you also know me from my other companies, both for profit and nonprofit, and initiatives working to bring economic diversification via the digital economy to the CNMI. Before I begin my comments, I just found out about this bill today. I'm the father of 2 young daughters, and so the first thing that I want to say is I would echo these statements. Please, I just read the bill. Please bring it to the floor and vote on it. Thank you. I come before you today to urge and, if necessary, plead with you to take action on the matter of the override of the governor's veto of Senate Local Bill number 2401D1 on today's agenda as Governor's Communication 2420. Last week, the Senate voted to override this veto, and I stand before you today to ask you to do the same. More than that, I stand before you in an attempt to help you understand, if you do not already, that this moment, right here and now, not next week or next month or next session, is going to determine the fate of the economy of the Commonwealth. The world is watching, and the actions you take in the next few minutes on the matter of this override will have an impact on the economic prosperity or lack thereof for generations of citizens of the CNMI. You have the chance to attract billions of dollars of investment and tax revenue from the fastest growing segment of the financial technology industry. You have the chance to do this without appropriating a single dollar, and all you have to do is say the word yes. I said the world is watching this chamber at this moment. This is not hyperbole. I am not exaggerating. Don't believe me. Take out your phones. Google the term Tinian override. In the past 72 hours, dozens, if not hundreds of articles have been written in the global financial technology press. Instead of me telling you what the stakes are today, let's allow the financial technology industry itself to tell you. If you scroll down that list of articles to the one that says a municipal stablecoin Tinian might beat the U.S. Congress to it from Binance, it's a short summary of what's at stake today in this chamber. And this is what it says. The Senate of the Northern Mariana Islands, a U.S. territory, has overridden the governor's veto and advanced a bill to launch the MUSD stablecoin. Now it is up to the House of Representatives. If passed, Tinian would become the first U.S. region to issue its own government-backed stablecoin. Key details from the bill. MUSD will be fully backed by U.S. dollars and government bonds. Issuance will be managed by the local treasury on the eCash blockchain. It will also be used in newly launched online casinos to enable transparent on-chain payments. So one of the things you'll notice there, the global press doesn't care about the casino part of this. They care about the technology and industry part of this. Context, the island's economy relies heavily on tourism. Local authorities are seeking digital tools for diversification. I'll scroll to the bottom. If the House approves, this could set a precedent. A municipal stablecoin launched ahead of the federal regulation. As tokenization and Web3 payments gain momentum, Tinian's case could have broad implications for the entire industry. The financial industry itself is telling you that what you do today will have broad implications for it, for a global industry. That doesn't happen in this chamber. If you say yes today, this industry begins coming here tomorrow, making it a new hub and home, looking to pay taxes, educate, train, and hire our people. It's a reason that in the future, our best and brightest won't leave and they'll have a reason to stay. Looking to occupy our empty commercial spaces and lease and renovate properties across the Commonwealth. How significant is this industry? Well, Binance, the company who published that article you just read, it's the most successful cryptocurrency exchange in the world. It did 7.4 trillion with a T, $7.4 trillion in trading volume last year. Its founder, Changpeng Zhao, has a personal net worth of $65.6 billion. He's listed as the 23rd richest person on earth. That's who is watching this chamber as we speak. And it isn't me saying it. You can just read it on your own device. They themselves are saying it. The same day the story came out in Cointelegraph, the most widely read industry news outlet, over 2.6 million followers on X, that the CNMI Senate voted yes to override, it was announced that the largest U.S. exchange, Coinbase, is being added on Monday to the S&P 500. Replacing Discover Card in the financial technology category and cementing the fact that this industry is 100% mainstream. So people keep asking, oh, is that just like Bitcoin? It's not. That's not what's happening in this bill. But oh, if only it was. Coinbase, the biggest company that sells Bitcoin in the US, is being added to the S&P 500 on Monday. In fact, the NMI Settlement Fund itself is currently invested in Coinbase. Our own settlement fund, NMI Settlement Fund, is invested in Coinbase via its position in the Vanguard Total World Stock Index Fund. We're invested in them. I beg you to say yes to them investing in us. Coinbase, as a U.S. company that can easily move operations and staff here tomorrow if they so desire, is watching. We have the chance to be forever seen as an innovative jurisdiction when it comes to this industry and attract companies to domicile here for generations to come. All you have to do is say yes. As I said to begin, we are all in a moment, a pivotal moment, and that moment is now. The journalists covering this story, the override, the veto, the whole thing that's going into the global press at Cointelegraph has already asked that our company, Marianas Rycorp, provide comment immediately after this House session, telling them what happened. Cointelegraph is publishing a story today that will be read by the entire industry about whether the eyes of the financial technology industry should be on the Northern Marianas as a new friendly home, or whether CNMI has passed on a singular opportunity at economic prosperity and has instead chosen to watch its economy crumble at an accelerated pace. The world is watching now. Do not kick the can down the road, I beg you. Honorable representatives of your people, bring this matter to a vote today and say yes to economic prosperity for the people who put you in this chamber to do just that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Armani. The podium is still open.
Mr. Speaker, good afternoon, and honorable members. Vin Armani is my partner in MRC. And when I joined the venture 2 years ago, I had hesitation, just like any other local islander, because the internet technology is blank for me, other than Google and Netflix. That's the limitation of what I knew. In that 2 years, I've asked a question. I've asked about the security issues because it's our biggest fear. We don't understand and we fear it. And, and I admire the leadership in Tinian for pushing this Senate local bill to where it is now. Okay, let's not lie to ourselves. Our economy is not going the way we want it to go. It's not. You are all elected leaders in our community. I was once an elected member of this house, and I see the newspaper every day. We're fighting for table scrap of what is a leftover economy or economy that's dying out, as Vin had mentioned. You need to have faith. You need to have faith in the legislation. You really do. And you need to have faith in the people that are going to enforce this legislation for you. Just like what the Domestic Violence Task Force has mentioned, they're asking for a bill to be passed into law. Just like DPS might ask for a bill to change the law. But you do it, you pass it because you know that they're going to be able to do it, to enforce the law. And if they can't enforce the law, what do? They go and get the expertise to enforce the law. That's the purpose of the Tinian Gaming Commission. It's one of the biggest fear that I've talked to some of you leaders about it, is that you basically have fear and that would it be able to be enforced. The internet technology, the digital age that's hitting the cinema is something that does not affect our environment, doesn't affect our work visa, doesn't require to bring in tourists from China, because the digital technology will bring the cinema to the world or open the technology for the world to come into the cinema and do business without affecting our culture, without affecting our environment, without affecting our immigration status. And that is the beauty of the digital technology. It's not just for watching YouTube. The technology is here. In 2014, the municipality of Tinian passed the Internet Gaming Initiative, and that allowed Tinian to do it. But the technology was not there. It wasn't available. Now the technology is here. The broadband speed and everything else that you see it. It's right in front of you. I'm not gonna deny any of you. You all are leaders in our community. You all know and you see it. The stable coin, as we speak right now, Wyoming has passed their stable coin, but they're projecting sometimes in July to launch the first U.S. stable coin. The CNMI is at the edge of this to pass the first U.S. stable coin through this stablecoin legislation. And all it needs is for all of you members is to say yes and override. It is a consequence or a burden for some of you thinking about all these things with the administration and so forth. I ask you this, have faith in the legislation. People ask about, well, where's the enforcement authority? It's already there. The previous initiative on Tinian Gaming Commission allows for the commission to promulgate rules and regulation to enact the enforcement. This just enables the use of the technology. I ask you all to support this override today, because in the age of technology, a minute is a week, an hour is a month. And as we go on, what we're seeing here with what YouTube is going on, people are watching. The technology, people are watching. The investors in technology and digital technology is watching. I ask again for your support to vote yes on the override today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Narita. The podium is still open. All right, with nothing further under public comments, we'll go ahead and move down to item number 3, adoption of journals. And we have none. We move down to item number 4, introduction of bills. And I'd like to recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I'd like to formally introduce House Bill 2428 to establish a grand jury system in the Commonwealth for use in criminal investigations and prosecutions and to provide for related powers and procedures. Refiled by myself and several others. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, floor leader. House Bill 24-28 will be referred to the Committee on JGO. Next, I'd like to recognize Representative Vincent Odan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to formally introduce House Bill number 2429 to reconcile public utility accounts between CHCC and CUC by waiving intergovernmental penalties and preserving enforceable debt obligation and for other purposes, pre-filed by myself and several others.
Period, Mr. Odan? You still have the floor, sir.
If there's no objection, Your Honor, I would like to clarify why, this this bill is, or why I want this bill to be passed first and final. All right, and I'm pretty sure that if I, when we do explain this, the public are probably gonna go irate. All right, if the public is aware that one of the biggest.
Sorry for the interruption, Representative Aldon, we'll save that for the bill calendar if that's okay with you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so with that, I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What I heard was that he motioned to, with no objection, for reading on first and final. So being that that's what I heard, I move to suspend Rule 9, Section 8, to place House Bill 2429, to reconcile public utility accounts between CHCC and CUC by waiving intra-government penalties and preserving enforceable debt obligations, and for other purposes on today's bill calendar. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made to suspend Rule 9, Section 8, and to place House Bill 2429 on today's bill calendar, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All in favor for the motion, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Thank you, members. Again, with the suspension of rules earlier, any other unnumbered bills to be introduced today? Going once? Oh, House bills, sir? Okay. All right. Looks like nothing further. We'll move down to House Local Bill, and I'd like to recognize, ladies first, Representative Julie Ogle.
Thank you, Speaker. I would like to officially introduce House Local Bill number 24-9 to amend Rota Local Law 23-15 to appropriate $155,000 for the continued operations of the Rota Casino Gaming Commission and for other purposes, pre-filed by myself for Precinct 7. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Ogle. And now recognize Representative Patrick San Nicolas.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is to officially introduce House Local Bill number 24-10 to appropriate revenues collected for the 2nd Senatorial District pursuant to Public Law 20-59, pre-filed by myself. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative San Nicolas. I now recognize Representative Roy Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is to introduce an unnumbered House Local Bill on behalf of Representative Joseph Flores. This is to amend the Saipan zoning law of 2013, Section 1211, concerning non-conforming auto rental offices with vehicles for enhanced industry, clarity, and infrastructure utilization in the 3rd Senatorial District and for other purposes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Adda. Any other unnumbered House Local Bills to be introduced? All right, with nothing further, we move down to House Legislative Initiatives. We have none. We move down to item number 5, introduction of resolutions, and recognize the Vice Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Officially introducing House Resolution 24-8 to honor and congratulate the Saipan Southern High School Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps, Manta Ray Battalion for their exceptional performance at the Go Bear West Coast National Drill Meet, introduced by myself and several others, and there's no objection, Mr. Speaker, to introduce this as a committee of the whole.
No objection. Okay, and with that, House Resolution number 24-8 is now hereby introduced by the Committee of the Whole and will be placed on today's calendar. However, we will not be able to act on it until the next House session. Any further under House resolutions? We have none. All right, we'll move down to House Commemorative Resolution, and I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I'd like to formally introduce House Commemorative Resolution number 24-3 to honor Elena Villaluz for exceptional achievements in the Scripps National Spelling Bee, academics, and extracurricular activities, and to celebrate her unwavering dedication and exemplary contributions as a role model for the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, pre-filed by myself and several others. However, if there's no objection, I'd like to introduce this as a committee as a whole.
No objection. Thank you, floor leader, for that. Let the record reflect that Commemorative Resolution 24-3 is now hereby introduced by the Committee of the Whole and will be placed on today's resolution calendar for action. Any further under resolutions? All right, and with that, we'll move down to item number 6, messages from the Governor, and I recognize the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 6, messages from the Governor, we have 2 items which was read on April 24, 2025 session and left on the agenda, Governor's Communication 2420 and 2421.
Thank you, clerk. And with that, I'm going to call for a quick recess. members, back to session. Before we went on recess, we just entered item number 6, messages from the governor. And as mentioned by the clerk, we have two governor's communications 24-20 and 24-21. And I open the floor for discussion. Any discussions? Recognize Representative John Paul Sablan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And under Governor's communication, I know that under our agenda we have two before us, and that is Governor Communication 24-20 and 24-21. And both of these communications here are up for a vote for an override, and therefore I want to state for the record my support of voting for an override. As we all know, as elected leaders here, that we are suffering economically on these very trying times, and with legislations that are before us that are calling and are promising for revenue to be generated into our CNMI. Therefore, I'm in support, and I'm ready for the vote. Thank you.
Recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And yes, as Rep. Sablan had mentioned, there are two items up for override, and both are revenue-generating bills that require this body to act. And then it will be sent to the Senate for them to act. But this is our constitutional duty. This is our job. This is what we have to do. While the first communication is directed toward our second senatorial district of Tinian, it's known through the public and here out of mutual respect that whatever happens in the senatorial district, the first senatorial district and the third senatorial district locally, there is of mutual respect that we are given an autonomy to grow our economy every which way we see fit. However, this bill or this communication also was commented by our AG, who we also seek guidance from in terms of legislation. And I have a big respect for our AG because he was elected just like us. He has a duty to help navigate and provide his opinion on the Constitution and our bills that are being presented forward locally and Commonwealth-wide. If you could just allow me, Mr. Speaker, I think this is very important because every time we talk about casino, there's always some kind of bitter pill to swallow. And I've made that very clear with lobbyists, with anybody coming to discuss with me why this bill or with this communication, this override is so important. And yes, it is true, we are in dire need of money. But what I don't like is when we are desperate and we are now forced to make a decision because we are desperate once again. And every time we're desperate, it always seems that we come back to casino all the time. For some reason, it's just that. And I'll tell you why, because it's lucrative. There's money to be made everywhere. And in this one, this is internet. So you've got a developer, you've got an IT guy, you've got all kinds of people working behind the scenes making money somehow. But I want to make it very clear to my colleague from Tinian that if anything happens with this bill today, the Commonwealth will also gain from the BGR. Now, I was listening to the two comments received from Mr. Norita and Mr. Vin Armani saying that they're ready to go at a press of a button. People are watching us. Wonderful. That's great. But as a representative, I don't like to be pushed to a corner to make a decision based on fear. So with that said, Mr. Speaker and esteemed colleagues, we often hear about the virtues of quick thinking and seizing the moment. We celebrate those who make split decisions, trusting their gut, reacting swiftly to changing circumstances. But while there's a time and a place for rapid response, particularly in times of crisis, we must acknowledge the significant risk and potential pitfalls of impulsive and reactive decision-making, especially when it comes to the long-term success of our Marianas and the well-being of our constituents. Today, I want to talk about the other side of the coin, about the importance of careful planning, thoughtful deliberation, and patience to see our decisions through. In the realm of governance, these qualities are not merely virtues. They are essential for effective leadership and enduring process. In the fast-paced world of politics, we are often pressured to act quickly. We fear missing the news cycle or being seen as indecisive or slow. But this obsession with speed can often lead us astray. Impulsive decisions made without careful consideration of all the ramifications are more likely to be based on incomplete information, flawed assumptions, and fleeting political passions. We might feel a rush of accomplishment in passing a bill quickly, a sense of political victory in responding swiftly to a crisis. But the consequences of these decisions can linger long after the headlines have faded, potentially derailing our long-term goals for the Marianas and undermining public interest in our institutions. Reactive decisions made in response to immediate stimuli or external pressures suffer from a similar flaw. Instead of being driven by core values or constitutional principles and a long-term vision for the Marianas, they're dictated by the crisis of the moment, the demands of special interest groups, or the shifting winds of political opinion. We become like leaves blown by the wind, constantly reacting to the latest crisis or demand without ever taking the time to chart our own course. This reactive approach can leave us feeling like we're constantly putting out fires, never truly in control of our legislative agenda, and ultimately failing to address the root causes of the challenges facing the Marianas. Slow, deliberate planning, on the other hand, which they've done, offers a powerful antidote to these dangers. By taking the time to carefully analyze a situation, to thoroughly vet all policy options, and to consider the potential consequences of our actions across different sectors of society and across future generations, we can make choices that are more aligned with the long-term goals and values as a Marianas. We can seek out diverse perspectives from experts, stakeholders, and the public, conduct rigorous research, and ensure that our decisions are based on the best available evidence. We can anticipate unintended consequences, identify implementation challenges, and develop robust contingency plans to mitigate risk before they arise, because once again, here we are. We can ensure that our policies are consistent with the Constitution, uphold the rule of law, and reflect the fundamental values and principles that underpin our democracy. We can lay the groundwork for sustainable growth, build strong and resilient communities, and create a future that is both prosperous and just for all. But patience is perhaps the most crucial element of this approach. It requires us to resist the urge for instant gratification, to delay immediate political victories in favor of the greater long-term gains of the Marianas. It demands that we trust in the legislative process, even when the path forward is complex and the results are not immediately apparent. This kind of patience is not passive. It's not about waiting for problems to solve themselves. It's about actively working towards our goals with a steady focus and unwavering commitment to the common good. It's about having the self-discipline to stay the course, to engage in constructive dialogue, and to build consensus even when faced with partisan gridlock and public pressure. In a world that often celebrates speed and impulsivity, let us not forget the enduring power of slow, deliberate planning and the vital importance of patience in governance. By taking the time to think carefully, to act thoughtfully, and to persevere patiently, we can make decisions that only serve our immediate political needs, but also pave the way for the long-term security, prosperity, and the well-being of our Marianas. Let us strive to be lawmakers who are remembered not for the speed of our actions, but for the wisdom, foresight, and enduring impact of our policies. With that said, I pressure and I challenge my colleague from Tinian. Should this body decide in favor of this override, sir, I plead with you that the lines of communications remain open, and that any dialogue on BGR that comes to Tinian, that there is a consequence for a failure to do so, and that anybody that challenges a system that is made to prohibit illicit activity and any other activity that comes with this iGaming, that they be prosecuted. Attorney Hines, you're right there sitting in the... So I'm sure you can hear this. Follow this carefully, because our people are done with bandang finagaga, tsadikeno na impulse offer to my mamanuamzu, to naso. But my loyalty is to the people. I'll make that very clear. Tinian, this is your responsibility, but our Constitution says that when we have to override a governor, it requires all of us, even those not living in your district. So, por favor, I ask for your indulgence, and I ask that you, please, you advocate for everybody now, because now we are voting for this override that pertains to the people of Tinian. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield.
Any further discussion?
Mr. Speaker?
Who was that? Raise your hand, please. Oh, recognize Representative San Nicolas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Madam Floor Leader, this is not only for Tinian. I'll tell you that. This is for the whole Commonwealth. And overriding this Senate local bill is a forward-looking measure that gives our island and our Commonwealth the legal infrastructure to enter a global digital economy through standalone internet gaming licenses and the creation of the Tinian stablecoin. This is not a rush thing. Into unregulated digital Wild West. This is a bill about transparency. This is a bill about accountability. And modern financial infrastructure, it is about building an economy within the Commonwealth. It is about number of flights landing into the Commonwealth, or the rise and fall of tourists, and fall of tourists coming in. It is about taking control of our economic future in a way that is legal, auditable, and competitive and international standards. Tinian stablecoin is an envision in this bill. It's not speculative. Cryptocurrency. It is a virtual currency that will be issued and regulated by the municipality, designed to enable transparency, secure, traceable online wagering, Every transaction will be recorded, and every movement of funds will be accounted for. Will be the financial integrity embedded in code. With a stablecoin, we will give operators and regulators in the 2nd Senatorial District a clear, tamper-proof financial trail, enhancing our reputation for oversight for the whole Commonwealth, and enforcing the legitimacy of our gaming industry in an era when financial transparency is key to international compliance, and this will be our competitive edge. Dependency, let us speak about honestly, Madam Floor, and every member of this body. The Commonwealth is facing a deep economic crisis. Legacy businesses are closing down. Tourist arrivals have plummeted. Air services is unreliable. Federal support is diminishing, and our islands are no longer wait for solutions to come from outside. Through the enactment of this Senate Local Bill 24-1, 2nd Senatorial District will have the legal framework and digital infrastructure to improve more throughout the Commonwealth, not only Tinian, and has a political will to lead this frontier. Simply, let me just put this one. Simply, we need this legislation to unlock our potentials. This bill does not depend on walking tourists or federal subsidies. It builds a digital industry generating revenue from licensed jurisdiction. Mr. Speaker and colleagues, honestly, this is more than a bill. This is a blueprint of economic resilience, a strategy to survive and thrive in changing world, a call to embrace innovation, while demanding transparency and regulatory oversight. I ask each and every one in this chamber, every member in this chamber, to vote yes to override the veto of this local bill. And let us stand together for not only Tinian, for the entire Commonwealth. Entire Commonwealth's future, and let us do so with confidence, vision, and purpose. I ask each and every one of you to vote yes for this override. Mr. Speaker, thank you, and I yield.
Thank you, Representative Nicholas. Vice Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, colleagues. This won't be an easy vote. We're being asked to override the governor's veto of a bill allowing Tinian to launch online gaming with a stablecoin system. And it's a big move that comes with a big risk. We have three options today: yes, no, or abstain. A yes supports a new economic direction, and a no says the risk is too high. Abstention says we're not ready, and I've considered all three. Tinian is asking for the chance to try something different, and we've seen what happened to the Tinian dynasty. Big promises, bigger collapse. We've seen it again with IPI on Saipan. lavish development, little accountability, and lasting consequences, like that big white elephant down there in Precinct 3. Lessons were learned, and we must make sure this online gaming venture is different. At least this time it's not brick and mortar. No buildings, no excavators, no land giveaways, and just a digital platform. This proposal is local and does not cost the Commonwealth a dime. I realize that no technology regulates itself either. Oversight will matter from both the regulators and this legislature. And if this goes off course, if it passes and it goes off course, we need to be prepared to hold wrongdoers accountable. That is our job here. They're not asking for guarantees. They're just asking for a fair chance to move forward. So here are my choices. Vote no and block a legal, homegrown initiative with no better option on the table. Abstain and delay the decision while Tinian and the rest of the Commonwealth waits. Or vote yes, because if Tinian is ready to try, we are ready to monitor, then the risk is worth it. If we keep waiting for a perfect solution, we will wait forever. Somebody said a few weeks ago, no one's coming to save us. If Tinian is ready, let's not hold them back. If Tinian wins, the CNMI wins. Mr. Speaker, I'm waiting for the vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Speaker. Any further under discussion? Recognize Representative Yanktamai from Precinct 3.
Thank you, Speaker. After going through a heavy-duty discussion and getting educated, I've decided to vote yes. They'll override yan. Buiga retrilial milaritipeli internet gaming yel. Yamilahatril, yangare etoto by a successful, hish milisibabal yaya. Alongalla faliu, lal Commonwealth yel drababal yaya. Si aliku ngalir retrilial, by drabangalekish yash share. Milel nye yel revenue bill. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Any further? Recognize Representative Aquino.
Thank you, Speaker. I just want to inform Representative San Nicolas that I too will be voting yes on both overrides. As far as the internet gaming, that's a $1 billion industry, and I would also like to have like sports betting, a bet on anything. You know, I mean, that's one of the most lucrative businesses that's out there. As far as Tinian, I have family there, both on my father's side and my mom's side. So my decision is to just say yes to help the people of Tinian and to help the people of CNMI. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Aquino. Any further? Recognize Representative Ralph Yun.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I too would like to show support to the 2nd Senatorial District. I've been working actually with the developer since the 22nd legislature when I tried to introduce iGaming in the CNMI. However, because the CNMI or in Saipan, because it was not popular at the time, you know, so we had a second win. So when the bill was introduced in the 2nd Senatorial District, which allow gaming there, it's a lot more easier, and I agree that with them that they, you know, coming from the Senate side or that side of the House supporting it, it makes it a lot easier. This is to allow digital gaming platform. There are going to be regulatory bodies out there. We still have to deal with FinCEN and all those other regulatory regulators. We still have the Department of Finance. I believe the Department of Finance is doing a good job. I remember when we did pass the e-gaming, I didn't support it at first, but now there is an industry. The Department of Finance is regulating it. They are collecting the data, and I have no doubt that they will, hire additional employees to ensure that the transparency between the company that's going to be handling this will be very clear with us. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I am ready for the vote.
Recognize Representative Julie.
Thank you, Speaker. As a representative of First Senatorial District, Rhoda, I stand in strong support of overriding the governor's veto of Tinian's Local Law 24-09. This measure was enacted by duly elected leaders of the Second Senatorial District who are best positioned to decide what is right for the people and their island's future. Like Rhoda, the people of Tinian voted for the casino industry as a means to drive economic activity and create jobs. For years, both of our communities have worked to jumpstart this industry, not because it is perfect, but because it presents a viable opportunity to uplift our local economies. We understand the risk, but we also understand the needs of our people. We believe in building the right safeguards while still moving forward. The Tinian Stable Token is a creative and forward-thinking step forward toward making the casino industry more secure, transparent, and competitive in a changing global economy. More importantly, it presents the kind of innovation that local leaders must be allowed to pursue on behalf of their constituents. As a representative from Rhoda, I share the same sentiment as the Second Senatorial District. Each senatorial district knows what's best for their people. I fully support the overrider's veto and encourage my colleagues to stand in solidarity with Tinian's leaders and their vision to bring economic opportunities home. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Julie. Recognize Representative Ato.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, colleagues, for sharing your points of view in regards to the governor's communications. But before we forget, we also have another governor's communication, 24-21. And I am respectfully asking the colleagues to please support an override on that communication for the mere fact that the governor's message to the legislative branch is contradictory to his actions in disapproving certain sections of House Local Bill 24-3 D2. In the governor's communication or submission of why he line item vetoed sections, and I quote, "The bill does not contain any substantive findings or purpose statements defining the intent of the legislation to ensure that the funds are used for public purposes." At the same time, he allowed multiple sections in the legislation to be approved that didn't have the substantive statement, purposes of why those monies should be, how those monies should be used, or how they were going to be used, but yet disapprove certain sections. So I ask colleagues if we can support the override on Governor's Communication 24-21 just through the inconsistency of the governor's message and his actions on the legislation itself. As for 24-20, I support the override on this specific legislation as well. For the fact that in 1999, the people of Tinian had decided, through a referendum, decided to legalize casino gambling on the island of Tinian and Agigan. The islands of Tinian and Agigan, the second senatorial district. And in that referendum, it was inclusive of internet gaming. Well, internet, maybe at that time for most of us, we didn't even know existed. But they had it in there because they followed suit with what the state of Nevada had provided for their casino gambling in their respective state. In that same referendum, the people of Tinian that they voted on included a section that would allow its leaders to make amendments. And in this case, it's the leaders from from Tinian that made amendments to address what the referendum needed to upgrade for different types of gaming industries in the second senatorial district. It's just unfortunate that when it comes to something that's vetoed on the local level legislation, that both the House and the Senate have to act on it, and it puts, at least in the House side, it puts the members from the first and second senatorial district in a disadvantage because there's only one member, and that one member has to work 10 times harder than the members from Saipan to ask for an override, because now you have to satisfy 18 at the very least, right? But 19 to get the override going. So since the people of Tinian voted on a referendum that allowed the leadership of Tinian to make changes to that referendum, and these are actions taken by the leadership, I think we should support that. At the very least, let them try it. It's allowed there. I believe Rhoda's referendum allows the same thing, and if Rhoda decides to do it, let them do it. The people have spoken in their respective senatorial districts, so allow them to invest in themselves. At the end of the day, like Vice Speaker said, it doesn't matter where, but if that respective municipality wins, the CDMI wins at the end. So with that being said, I ask for your support for an override on both communications, and thank you for the time, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Atao. Anything further? Representative Angelo?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Real quick, I just want to basically share my experience, during this 2 terms, I guess, in the House, in office. Myself and several other members have gone through 2 budget sessions already, by far. And, we all witnessed the difficulties and the struggles in, how do you say this, like properly funding each senatorial districts. With that being said, I strongly believe in this bill, and I feel like, it will succeed, and I'm just hoping it can basically sustain themselves. I just see a lot of benefits to this bill, and I mean, there are some flaws, I guess, if you will. However, but everybody has different sentiments and different point of view in this bill, but I just see more potential to it. So I think I made up my mind. I'm ready to vote as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Angelo Camacho. Representative Vincent Oda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I do support both of this bill, especially for this Tinian gaming, and this is all. I mean, although it's not going to technically affect the whole entire CNMI, but I really do hope that the leadership in Tinian and that the people in Tinian, please do not, I'm asking you, please do not forget of all the things that's happened before when it comes to casino. We have the dynasty that fell apart and was still suffering, or Tinian is suffering, and we have IPI. Okay, and I agree with my colleague, Chairman Angelo, that we don't have all the money in the world to divvy up to every senatorial district. And I really do hope and I really do, pray and wish that this thing works out. Because if it does, if we've learned anything in the past, is that corruption, under the table dealings, favoritism, all of these things doesn't work out. Everything has pros and cons. But and I'm also pretty sure that we are not, blind to see that when we start hiding information that rightfully belongs to the public, things tend to fall apart. Is it too much to ask that the leadership of Tinian that will, that they should be open to their people? To the community, to show everything, to make sure that everything is moving the way it's supposed to move. Because if we haven't learned anything from the dynasty fiasco or the IPI fiasco, we haven't learned anything at all. And if you truly are suffering, if the whole entire, Tinian community is suffering and, we don't have the money to support, this is your chance, and I hope it does really work out. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure that we could all work together to try to make things better, And I just wish you guys the best, because evidently there is no other plan. I haven't seen anything coming out of the governor's mouth, and that makes me mad. So, I hope I hear, something coming, SOCA, but whatever. Sometimes we have to do things that are not popular. But if that's the only road we got left, then that's the only road we got left. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I do support the two override.
Thank you, Representative Aldan. Representative Ada.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think a lot has been said already on the table, and I do share a lot of the sentiment that was said, most especially from our floor leader and our vice speaker. It is somewhat of a risk, but I think that the benefits outweigh, the risks. And with that, I'd like to commend Tinian Second Senatorial District and the two gentlemen that came up before us in public comments for taking a proactive approach to this movement. And with that, I support the both bills before us to veto and to override. I'm sorry, to override. And with that, I move to end discussion and go to voting. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any objection? There's objection. Okay, so the objection on the floor, Rep. Joel.
Thank you, and my apologies, colleague leader. I wasn't gonna talk, but apparently everyone's talking. But I just wanted to share that I actually was on the fence of this specific override. One, because obviously there was an opinion on the Attorney General's end. But I do see the need every week. We're hearing some bad news. T-Way cutting down their flights or suspending their flights in July, I believe. And then we have Jeju that's cutting down from 3 flights to 1 flight. Hearing of Elan cutting down on staff, DFS closure. It's just like non-stop. What we need is new cash infusion, and we're hoping, colleague, from Tinian, that you guys pave the way and please get this right and show us that, there is a better way and there is a potential industry that can benefit not just the second senatorial district, but the CNMI as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Joel. Floor leader.
I know Rep. Ada wanted to end this discussion, but I objected only because thank you, Rep. Camacho, for keeping this communication open. Rep. from Tinian, I want to have my last word. You know that please put favor. I read your bill. It's a great bill. But for a long time too, the third senatorial district being the most populated of all of the districts in the Commonwealth. Our people in our third senatorial district have also sacrificed. Unfortunately for Rhoda, they have yet to try to share because they haven't made it there. But I think with this bill and with your leadership, I hope, mga de malefan ni amigi precinct 3, put favor. For a long time in Sutby, all senatorial districts, and all I ask is Asui Senatorial District 1, sa Mizunarios din na sa Lopi, you're talking about millions, 100 millions. Billion, even trillion, maybe. But I think if you can spread it out outside of BGR, maybe another 30% this way would be nice. Lo, take that up with your leadership. I would really appreciate it. Thank you, Speaker Ayu.
Thank you, Floor Leader. Representative Palacios.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mi finusa moro representa lo que lay si Pat sa Nicolas niste sa balo kitsulu doso masaga tinian. Por favor, bota lo que este. Sa man sasaga za tanay jo manasinya. So tagi mo offer para talie para siya sa dupsia. Pes pino Donald Trump ni lenya na offer jo nga nice alifi sanction gi Syria. Pes tagi lo kita na chance. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Palacios. For the last time, Representative San Nicolas.
Babi na klaro as this is Mr. Speaker ni sa si Madam Flor ni target zo mo gini. Malada bi santa gini. Tisinya tinian mamay checho. Zangin tagi luta, zan tagi saipan. Tisinya saipan mamay checho, zangin tagi luta, zan tinian. Tisinya luta mamay checho, zangin tagi saipan, zan tinian. Estigi usasangan na kamamwa festi para o managwaha masa yafa ta yafa masusisini pago manamasi. But we have to work together ni parata na posiblisti. It's not only second senatorial district. First, second, and third. The whole Commonwealth is iafa para masosedi, iafa para maresibi. It's not just one senatorial district. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm done.
Thank you, Representative San Nicolas. Any further? Ready. I now recognize the floor leader for under Governor's Communication 24-20. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to override Governor's Veto Communication 24-20. So move.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made to override Governor's Communication 24-20, and it has been seconded. And I don't want to say discussion because that's what we did already before this motion. We're ready for the vote. All right, Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Vanda?
Yes.
Representative Valdan?
Yes.
Representative Aquino?
Yes.
Representative Fatal?
Yes.
Representative Beneventi? Representative Angelo Komatsu?
Yes.
Representative Diego Komatsu?
Yes.
Representative Joao Komatsu?
I'm good.
Representative Marissa Flores? Representative Vogel?
Yes.
Representative Palacios?
I'm good.
Representative Rangomar?
Yes.
Representative Sablan?
I'm good.
Representative San Nicolas?
Good.
Representative Yang Tamay?
Awa.
Representative Guillemot? Representative Beneventi? Representative Marissa Flores? Mr. Speaker,
No.
Representative Marissa Flores.
No.
Mr. Speaker, 14 members voted yes, 2 members voted no, and 4 members are absent.
Thank you, Clerk. And with 14 members voting in favor for the override, that meets the two-third vote requirement, and therefore the motion carries. Just to make the record clear that Governor's Communication 24-20 is regarding the Senate Local Bill number 24-01, Draft 1, to amend the Tinian Local Law 2109 to provide for regulatory compliant internet gaming, to authorize the establishment of the Tinian stable token, and for other purposes. So the motion carries. Okay. Floor leader for the next Governor's Communication 24-21.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move to override Governor's Veto Communication 24-21. So move. Go ahead, Speaker.
Okay, a motion has been made by the floor leader. Or can I get a second? Okay, thank you. A motion has been made by the floor leader to override Governor's Communication 24-21. This is in regards to House Local Bill number 24-3, Draft 2, to appropriate revenues collected for the 3rd Senatorial District pursuant to Public Law 20-59. Again, it has been seconded. No further discussions, I hope, because we did that before the motion happened. And with that, Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Fanta? Representative Valdan?
Yes.
Representative Aquino?
Yes.
Representative Patel?
Yes.
Representative Angelo Komatsu? Representative Diego Komatsu?
No.
Representative Joel Komatsu?
Okay.
Representative Marissa Flores? Representative Vogel?
Yes.
Representative Palacios?
Yes, ma'am.
Representative Rangmar?
Yes.
Representative Sablan?
Gan.
Representative Cindy Claus? Representative Yang Tamay?
No.
Representative Yumon? Representative Marissa Flores? Mr. Speaker,
No.
Representative Marissa Flores?
No.
Mr. Speaker, 12 members voted no, and 12 members voted yes, and 4 members voted no, and 4 members are absent.
Thank you, Clerk. With a vote of 12 yes and 4 no, that falls short of the two-third vote, so therefore the motion does not carry. Thank you, members. With that, we now move down to item number 7, Senate Communications. And I recognize the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under Senate Communications, we have Senate Communications 2411 through 2422.
Thank you, Clerk. And with that, I recognize the floor leader for the motion to accept.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House accept Senate Communications 2411 to 2422, and that it be deemed the property of the House for further disposition as appropriate. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made to accept Senate Communications, and it has been seconded. Any discussions?
Ready.
Ready? All right. All in favor for the motion, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes barely have it. All right. Under Senate Communications, for Senate Communication 24-13, regarding the captive insurance, we'll refer that to the bill calendar for action. Senate Communication 24-14, regarding Senate Bill 24-18 SD1 will be referred to the committees on Natural Resources and Ways and Means. Senate Communication 24-15, referring to Senate Bill 24-22, will be referred to the Committee on Commerce. 24-16, referring to Senate Bill 24-32 SD1. That will be referred to the Committee on Ways and Means and Natural Resources. Senate Bill 24-20, referring to House Bill number 24-17, SD1, will be referred to calendar for action. Senate Communication 24-21, referring to Senate Joint Resolution 24-03, will be referred to the resolution calendar for action. And Senate Communications 24-22, referring to Senate Joint Resolution number 24-04, will be referred to the resolution calendar for action. Okay, and with that, we'll move down to item number 8, House Communications. I recognize the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 8, House Communications, we have House Communications 2429 to 2431.
Thank you, clerk. Any discussion under House Communications? I recognize Representative Hatto.
My apologies. If there's no objection from the members on Senate Communication 24-21.
Yes.
You sent that to resolution calendar?
Yeah, it's a Senate Joint Resolution.
Yeah, well, the joint resolution that's coming out of the FFA committee with understanding, I don't know the exact standing committee report number, but it's standing committee report 24-7 actually addresses that specific issue, inclusive of the Annex 6.
Oh, okay. So we'll go ahead and refer this to your committee.
Sure. It should be addressed already on the standing committee report 24-7.
Okay.
We
Okay.
included
All right.
the
So
EVS TAP one in
yeah.
that joint resolution.
Okay. My apologies, clerk. Can we go back to that under Senate
Thank you, Mr.
Communication? Thank you, Representative Hatto. Senate Communication 2421 to just go ahead and refer that to the Committee on FFA. Thank you. So any back to House Communications? Any discussions? Ready? All right. Thank you, members. We'll move down to item number 9, communications from the Judicial Branch. We have none. Item number 10, communications from departments and agencies. Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 10, Communications from Department and Agencies, we have one item, Department Agency Communication 24-8.
Thank you, Clerk. Any discussions under communications from departments and agencies? Ready? All right. Next item on the agenda, miscellaneous communications. Clerk.
Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. Under item 11, Miscellaneous Communications, we have 3, Miscellaneous Communications 2432 to 2434.
Thank you, Clerk. Any discussions? Ready? All right. Thank you, members. We now move down to item number 12, reports of standing committees, and I recognize the clerk.
Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. Under item 12, we have 7 standing committee reports ready for House action.
Thank you, Clerk. And with that, I'd like to recognize the floor leader for the adoption of the committee reports. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of Standing Committee Report number 24-1, reporting on House Bill number 24-2, entitled, "To Establish a Process for the Delivery of the State of the Commonwealth Address to the Legislature by the Governor." Your House Committee on Judiciary and Governmental Operations recommends that the House pass House Bill number 24-2 in its current form. So move.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made for the adoption of Standing Committee Report 24-1, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All in favor for the motion, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Standing Committee Report 24-1 is hereby adopted. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of Standing Committee Report number 24-2, reporting on House Bill number 2414, entitled, "To Establish the Office of Financial Integrity and Compliance of OFIC and the OFIC Oversight Committee to improve the CNMI government's financial management and reporting. Your House Committee on Judiciary and Governmental Operations recommends that the House pass House Bill number 24-14 in its current form. So move.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made for the adoption of Standing Committee Report 24-2, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Okay. All in favor for the motion, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move for the adoption of Standing Committee Report number 24-3, reporting on House Bill number 24-15, entitled to establish public sector employee and public sector employer relations through organized labor within the Commonwealth and for other purposes. Your House Committee on Judiciary and Governmental Operations recommends that the House pass House Bill number 24-15 in its current form. So move.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made for the adoption of Standing Committee Report number 24-3, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All in favor for the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move for the adoption of Standing Committee Report number 24-4, reporting on House Bill number 24-1, entitled to amend provisions in Title 6, Chapter 3, Sexual Offenses, Article 1, general provisions relating to sexual abuse, assault of minors. Your House Committee on Judiciary and Governmental Operations recommends that the House pass the bill in the form of House Bill number 24-1, HS1. So move.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made for the adoption of Standing Committee Report 24-4, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Recognize Representative Joel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And in the interest of time, I know that we have the coalition here along with Council Hines, and may I recommend that if there's no objection that we place this on our first order of business under bill calendar?
No objection.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
All right, thank you. Any other discussions? Ready? Okay. All in favor for the motion, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of Standing Committee Report number 24-5, reporting on House Bill number 24-19, entitled to rename the CNMI Scholarship Office to the CNMI Scholarship and Financial Assistance Office. Your House Committee on Judiciary and Governmental Operations recommends that the House pass House Bill number 24-19. So move.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made for the adoption of Standing Committee Report 24-5, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All in favor for the motion, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of Standing Committee Report number 24-6, reporting on House Bill number 24-25, entitled to establish mandatory consecutive sentencing for repeat felony offenders on probation or parole and to ensure consistent application of sentencing laws. Your House Committee on Judiciary and Governmental Operations recommends that the House pass House Bill number 24-25. So move.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made for the adoption of Standing Committee Report 24-6, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All in favor for the motion, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move for the adoption of Standing Committee Report number 24-7, reporting on Senate Joint Resolution number 24-1, entitled Supporting the Commonwealth Ports Authority's Request for Exemption from Federal Limitations on Scheduled Chinese Air Services to the CNMI and for the reinstatement of Annex 6 under the U.S. Department of State's U.S.-China Air Transport Agreement of 2007. Your House Committee on Federal and Foreign Affairs recommends that the House pass in the form of Senate Joint Resolution number 24-1, HD1. So move.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made for the adoption of Standing Committee Report 24-7, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Okay. All in favor for the motion, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Thank you, members. That takes care of that item of the agenda. We now move down to item number 13, reports of special and conference committees. We have none. Item number 14, unfinished business. We have none. Item number 15, before we go into the resolution calendar, I just want to call for a quick recess. Quick recess. rise to session. Before we went on recess, we're about to enter the resolution calendar, but I would like to move to item number 16, bill calendar, and go directly to House Bill 24-1. And with that, I recognize the floor leader for the proper motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move for the passage on first and final reading on House Bill number 24-1, HS1, a bill for an act to amend provisions in Title 6, Chapter 3, Sexual Offenses, Article 1. General provisions relating to sexual abuse and assault of minors. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made for the passage of House Bill number 24-1, House Substitute 1, and it has been seconded. Any discussion? Ready. Thank you. Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Vada?
Yes.
Representative Faldan? Representative Aquino?
Yes.
Representative Fatal?
Yes.
Representative Angelo Komatsu?
Yes.
Representative Diego Komatsu?
Yes.
Representative Joel Komatsu?
Ungan.
Representative Marissa Flores?
Yes.
Representative Vogel?
Yes.
Representative Palacios?
I'm good.
Representative Rangamar?
Yes.
Representative Sablan?
Ungan.
May I ask, what are we voting for?
House Bill 24-1 regarding the...
Yes.
Yes.
My apologies, Mr. Speaker, I just...
Representative Yanktamay?
Oh, well.
Representative Yumo? Representative Yumo? Mr. Speaker?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 15 members present voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With 15 members present voting yes, House Bill number 24-1, House Substitute 1, hereby passes the House. All right. Thank you. We'll now move back to resolution calendar, and with that, I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move for the adoption of commemorative resolution number 24-3, a House commemorative resolution to honor Alina Velaluz for her exceptional achievements in the Scripps National Spelling Bee, academics, and extracurricular activities, and to celebrate her unwavering dedication and exemplary contributions as a role model for the Commonwealth of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made for the adoption of commemorative resolution 24-3, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Okay, all in favor, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Commemorative resolution 24-3 is hereby adopted. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move for the adoption of Senate Joint Resolution number 24-4, a Senate Joint Resolution to call for a joint session of the legislature to receive the Governor's State of the Commonwealth address. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made for the adoption of Senate Joint Resolution 2404, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Fada? Representative Faldan? Representative Aquino?
Yes.
Representative Fatal?
Yes.
Representative Angelo Komatsu? Representative Diego Komatsu?
Yes.
Representative Joel Komatsu?
Ungan.
Representative Marissa Flores?
Yes.
Representative Vogel?
Yes.
Representative Palacios?
I'm good.
Representative Rangamar?
Yes.
Representative Sablan?
Ungan.
Representative Nicholas? Representative Yanktamay?
Oh, well.
Mr. Speaker?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 15 members present voted yes.
Thank you, clerk. With all 15 members present voting yes, Senate Joint Resolution 2404 is hereby adopted. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move for the adoption of Senate Joint Resolution number 24-1, HD1, a Senate Joint Resolution supporting the Commonwealth Ports Authority's request for exemption from federal limitations on scheduled Chinese air services to the CNMI and for the reinstatement of Annex 6 under the U.S. Department of State's U.S.-China Air Transportation Agreement of 2007, and urging the full and immediate implementation of the CNMI's Economic Vitality and Security Travel Authorizations Program, EVS-TAP. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made for the adoption of Senate Joint Resolution number 24-1, House Draft 1, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Vanda?
Yes.
Representative Valdan? Representative Aquino?
Yes.
Representative Vatal?
Yes.
Representative Angela Komatsu? Representative Diego Komatsu?
Yes.
Representative Joel Komatsu?
I'm good.
Representative Marissa Flores?
Yes.
Representative Vogel?
Yes.
Representative Palacios?
I'm good.
Representative Rangamar?
Yes.
Representative Sablan?
I'm good.
Representative Nicolas? Representative Yanktamai?
Howard.
Mr. Speaker?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 15 members present voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With all 15 members present voting yes, Senate Joint Resolution number 24-1 HD1 hereby is hereby adopted. Thank you. We'll now move back to the bill calendar, and I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the passage on first and final reading on House Bill number 24-2, a bill for an act to establish a process for the delivery of a State of the Commonwealth address to the legislature by the governor. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made for the passage of House Bill number 24-2, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Vanda?
Yes.
Representative Valdan? Representative Aquino?
Yes.
Representative Vatal?
Yes.
Representative Angela Komatsu? Representative Diego Komatsu?
Yes.
Representative Joel Komatsu?
I'm good.
Representative Marissa Flores?
Yes.
Representative Vogel?
Yes.
Representative Palacios?
I'm good.
Representative Rangamar?
Yes.
Representative Sablan?
I'm good.
Representative Nicolas?
Yes.
Representative Yanktamai?
Howard.
Mr. Speaker?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 15 members present voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With 15 members present voting yes, House Bill 24-2 hereby passes the House. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move for the passage on first and final reading of House Bill number 24-14, a bill for an act to establish the Office of Financial Integrity and Compliance, OFIC, and the OFIC Oversight Committee to improve the CNMI government's financial management and reporting. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made for the passage of House Bill number 24-14, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Okay, Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Vanda? Representative Valdan? Representative Aquino?
Yes.
Representative Vatal?
Yes.
Representative Angela Komatsu? Representative Diego Komatsu?
Yes.
Representative Joel Komatsu?
I'm good.
Representative Marissa Flores?
Yes.
Representative Vogel?
Yes.
Representative Palacios?
Good.
Representative Rangamar?
Yes.
Representative Sablan?
I'm good.
Representative Nicolas?
Yes.
Representative Yanktamai?
Howard.
Mr. Speaker?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 15 members present voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With all 15 members present voting yes, House Bill 24-14 hereby passes the House. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the passage on first and final on House Bill number 24-15, a bill for an act to establish public sector employee and public sector employer relations through organized labor within the Commonwealth and for other purposes. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. Motion has been made for the passage of House Bill number 24-15, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Vanda?
No.
Representative Valdan? Representative Aquino?
Yes.
Representative Vatal?
Yes.
Representative Angela Komatsu? Representative Diego Komatsu? Representative Joel Komatsu?
I'm good.
Representative Marissa Flores?
Yes.
Representative Vogel?
Yes.
Representative Palacios?
Good.
Representative Rangamar?
Yes.
Representative Sablan?
I'm good.
Representative Nicolas?
Yes.
Representative Yanktamai?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, 14 members voted yes and 1 member voted no.
Thank you, Clerk. With 14 members voting yes, House Bill number 24-15 hereby passes the House. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the passage on first and final reading on House Bill number 24-19, a bill for an act to rename the CNMI Scholarship Office to the CNMI Scholarship and Financial Assistance Office. So move.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made for the passage of House Bill number 24-19, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Rada?
Yes.
Representative Faldan? Representative Aquino?
Yes.
Representative Hato?
Yes.
Representative Angelo Komatsu? Representative Diego Komatsu?
Yes.
Representative Joel Komatsu?
I'm good.
Representative Marissa Flores?
Yes.
Representative Vogel?
Yes.
Representative Palacios? Representative Rangomar?
Yes.
Representative Sablan?
I'm good.
Representative Nicolas?
Yes.
Representative Yanktamay?
Howard.
Mr. Speaker?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 15 members present voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With all 15 members present voting yes, House Bill number 24-19 hereby passes the House. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the passage on first and final reading on House Bill number 24-25, a bill for an act to establish mandatory consecutive sentencing for repeat felony offenders on probation or parole and to ensure consistent applications of sentencing laws. So move.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made for the passage of House Bill number 24-25, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes.
Representative Faldan? Representative Aquino?
Yes.
Representative Hato?
Yes.
Representative Angelo Komatsu? Representative Diego Komatsu?
Yes.
Representative Joel Komatsu?
I'm good.
Representative Marissa Flores?
Yes.
Representative Vogel?
Yes.
Representative Palacios?
Good.
Representative Rangomar?
Yes.
Representative Sablan?
I'm good.
Representative Nicolas?
Yes.
Representative Yanktamay?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 15 members present voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With all 15 members present voting yes, House Bill number 24-25 hereby passes the House. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move for the passage and first and final reading on House Bill number 24-29, a bill for an act to reconcile public utility accounts between CHCC and CUC by waiving intragovernmental penalties and preserving enforceable debt obligations. I'm sorry. Recess, please.
Quick recess. Before we went on recess, we were on the bill calendar under House Bill number 24-29, and I'd like to recognize the floor leader.
My apologies, colleagues and Mr. Speaker. Before we head into the bill calendar, I'd like to offer a motion for, I'm sorry, where am I? No. Sorry. Oh, before offering the motion for passage on first and final reading, I move to suspend Rule 7, Section 9, and Rule 9, Section 9 and 10. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made by the floor leader for the suspension of Rule 7, Section 9, and Rule 9, Sections 9 and 10, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All in favor for the motion, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I now move for passage on first and final reading on House Bill number 24-29 to reconcile public utility accounts between CHCC and CUC by waiving intragovernmental penalties and preserving enforceable debt obligations, and for other purposes. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made for the passage of House Bill number 24-29, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Thank you, members. Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Fada?
Yes.
Representative Faldan? Yes. Representative Aquino?
Yes.
Representative Hato?
Yes.
Representative Angelo Komatsu? Representative Diego Komatsu?
I'm good.
Representative Joel Komatsu,
Good.
Representative Marissa Flores,
Yes.
Representative Vogel,
Yes.
Representative Palacios,
Good.
Representative Rangomar,
Yes.
Representative Sablan,
Good.
Representative Nicolas,
Yes.
Representative Yangtamay.
However,
Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 15 members present voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With all 15 members present voting yes, House Bill number 24-29 hereby passes the House. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I now move, before offering the motion for passage on first and final reading, I move to suspend Rule 7, Section 9, and Rule 9, Sections 9 and 10. So move.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made by the Floor Leader for the suspension of Rule 7, Section 9, and Rules 9, Sections 9 and 10, and it has been seconded. Any discussion?
Ready.
Ready. All in favor for the motion, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I now move for passage on first and final reading on Senate Bill number 24-09, Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands CNMI Captive Insurance Act of 2025 and for other purposes. So move.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made for the passage of Senate Bill number 24-09, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready. Okay, Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Fada, Representative Faldan, Representative Kino, Representative Hato,
Yes.
Representative Angelo Komatsu, Representative Diego Komatsu, Representative Joel Komatsu,
Okay.
Representative Marissa Flores,
Yes.
Representative Vogel,
Yes.
Representative Palacios,
Good. Good.
Representative Rangomar,
Yes.
Representative Sablan,
Good.
Representative Nicolas,
Yes.
Representative Yangtamay,
however,
Representative Fada, Representative Kino, Representative Diego Komatsu.
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 13 members present voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With all 13 members present voting yes, Senate Bill number 24-09 has passed the House. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before offering the motion for passage on first and final reading, I move to suspend Rule 7, Section 9, and Rule 9, Sections 9 and 10. So move.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made by the Floor Leader. Sorry, quick recess. Before we went on recess, we were under House Bill number 24-17 SD1, and I'd like to recognize the Floor Leader.
Sorry, colleagues, it's been a long day. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to reject the Senate amendments to House Bill number 24-17, Senate Draft 1, as referenced in Senate Communication 24-20. So move. And I call for a conference committee. So move. Refer to committee or conference committee. So move.
Yeah, it's okay. All right, we'll go ahead and recognize the Floor Leader's motion for rejection. And it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Okay. Again, for clarification, if you vote yes, that means you vote for the rejection. And if you vote no, you don't vote for the rejection. Are we clear? Clear? Rep Yangtamay? Okay. Okay. Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Faldan, Representative Fatal,
Yes.
Representative Angelo Komatsu, Representative Diego Komatsu,
Yes.
Representative Joel Komatsu,
Again.
Representative Marissa Flores,
Yes.
Representative Vogel,
Yes.
Representative Palacios, Representative Rangomar,
Yes.
Representative Sablan,
Again.
Representative Nicolas,
No.
Representative Yang Tamay.
Oh, what?
Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, 12 members voted yes, and 1 member voted no.
Thank you, Clerk. With 12 voting yes, the motion carries. House Bill number 24-17 SD1 has been, on the Senate amendments, has been rejected. And I will appoint a conference committee on the House side at a later date. A memo will be forthcoming. Okay, thank you, colleagues. And with that, we have nothing further under bill calendar. We now move down to item number 17, miscellaneous, and the floor is open. Ready? All right. We'll now move down to item number 18, announcements. Any announcements? Ready? All right, we now move down to adjournment, and I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House stand adjourned, subject to the call of the chair. So move.
All right, a motion has been made for adjournment, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Session's adjourned. Thank you, everyone.